The Houston Rockets are really just a unit. Like every single time, I think that, maybe we have a question. Maybe we can't get overzealous that, oh, they're still young. They keep beating people. And I know the playoffs haven't started, but they go ahead and beat a team like the Warriors, who the Warriors, ever since getting Jimmy Butler, have now been considered title contenders. And Dillon Brooks and the guys and everybody else continues to pummel and physically impose their will. I mean, we know that Steven Adams just being there plays a huge presence, whether or not he impacts the stat sheet in a recognizable way for the casual fan. Whenever Sengun comes off the floor, sometimes they run two back-to-basket bigs. Yes, in 2025, some teams do that, but Amen Thompson and Dillon Brooks at point of attack just choke you out. And then Jalen Green, whether or not he has a great game or he doesn't, he's just a scorer who can take over at an elite level and still actually create for other people. That I do want to give some credit that Jalen Green is a little bit of an underrated facilitator this year. He, for the third year in a row now, 3.5 assists a game. He'll come out and he can help. And Fred VanVleet, even if he has a game that in the box score might look like a dud, he's running the floor. He's helping the boys out there. And Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, who's kind of in the sixth man role for them as of late, just goes in and starts stroking it the way that we always expected him to be able. And I feel like in this current role that he's been playing, he seems to be offensively at least freer and playing with like less restriction, especially just letting his 3-point shot just fly, which is what is needed. And to me, this is just something that they've shown time in and time out, going against a red hot Warriors team, that they're able to just hold this team to a dormant, a very underwhelming performance because A, their defense, and then B, their offense is so potent. Just listen to me here. This team only is shooting 9 of 28 from 3. Which, if you guys did not know, that's like 30%. It's not going to blow anybody out the water. The Warriors are shooting 16 to 43. Okay? So 32% to 37%. But the Rockets put up 44 field goal made on 91 attempts compared to the Warriors 34 to 84. This team is literally just shooting inside, mainly at the rim, the highest percentage shot in basketball. And they're able to get to the free throw line as a result. Even though they've missed significantly more, they have the same amount of free throw attempts. They're out rebounding the Warriors. They have 15 offensive rebounds specifically, which is more than the Warriors. As this game is coming to a close right here, it's the final minute. It's a 14-point game when I started making this video. And to me, what you see right here is, as I've always said this, when you are able to physically impose your will to your opponent, and just what that allows you to do, the physical imposing, when you get rebounds, specifically second chance opportunities like offensive rebounds, you get yourself loose balls and hustle plays, you just start to rub off on your opponent where they just get demoralized and they just start to feel defeated. Oh, this guy's beating me to the spot. Oh, this guy's doing this and this guy's doing that. We can't do anything about it. And then those are the small things that don't show up in the stat sheet. When a guy dives for a loose ball, when a guy goes and makes a play to help his team win. Those are the things that people don't realize is the difference between being a contender and being a team that is going to be in the playoffs playing serious minutes for the first time in their young players' careers. To me, the other thing we're not even bringing up about this Rocket squad, which I do love what they built here. Obviously, Raphael Stone and Ime Udoka deserves a lot of credit. They're healthy, and having this depth of VanVleet and Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and Alperen Sengun, really just three wings, a guard, and Sengun, who's just baby Jokic out there. Steven Adams comes to help him out. So does Jabari Smith, or just, kind of like stagger their minutes. Tari Eason with Amen Thompson and Dillon Brooks is just constant pressure on the defensive end against the opposing team's best offensive players, at having guys who are going to be dogged pit bulls at the point of attack nonstop. And that right there is really just the 8-man rotation they stick with. And if someone gets hurt or suspended or ejected, whatever it may be, Jacques Landale, Reed Shepherd, Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green, Cam Whitmore, Jayshawn Tate are all available for guys who get in foul trouble, guys who need minutes. And it's really incredible, because with Jalen Green averaging 21, Sengun averaging 19, 10, and 5, VanVleet averaging 14, 4, and 5, Amen Thompson 14 and 8, which is crazy to think about. He's like a swing man. He can play any position, really, 1 through 4. Maybe 4 seldom times when they want to do stretch small ball lineups, but Tari's another great. It's crazy. Tari, I feel, is like one of the most underrated players in the league. 12 points per game now, 6.5 rebounds. I just love his game. He's so much fun to watch. Cam Whitmore at one point was like their microwave off the bench. As the season has progressed, he's kind of had more of a quiet or reserve role, just because they've been tightening the lineup. And same thing with Jock and Jeff Green and Aaron Holiday. Just their relievers, as clearly Ime Udoka is just closing up this lineup. But if you're a fan of the Rockets, you have to admit the position you guys are in compared to previous seasons, it's wild. Second in the NBA Western Conference. They have I think the 4th best record in the league, 4th best net rating, 12th offensive defense rating, 4th best net rating, 4th best defensive rating, 12th best offensive rating. They're 18th in pace. And one stat that I don't really mention enough, but is the simple rating system on basketball rating. They're a 5.72. What do you guys think of that one? I just think the crazy thing is their opponents only score 109 points, and they're scoring 114.5 points. They outscore their opponents by 5 points a game, which I think just highlights how good they are. And for a team that shoots about league average in 3-point attempts and 3-point percentage, it seems they're actually bottom 10 in those categories, but they're number 1 in field goal attempts. They get their shots up, and specifically they're number 1 in 2-point attempts and 7th in 2-point mates, but they're actually the 3rd worst in 2-point percentage. So even though they're not making their shots at a high frequency, but because they're such a high efficient shots, it doesn't matter. Number 1 offensive rebounding team, number 1 total rebounding team, 7th in defensive rebounds. Again, they're the 2nd worst assist team. The ball does sometimes stop with them. That's more because of Sengun and Jalen Green, but it works. And the rest of their stats, they are a team that clearly does a good job of being able to impact their offense with the system that they have. They get to the free throw line, and defensively they cause turnovers, they control the boards and the tempo of the game, and they force teams to play their style. They're dangerous.